Hey, boys and girls. Today, we're coming at you with something a little bit different. I have at T90Official. Um, he's uh, he's a he's a mediocre channel in the Age of Empires 2 community. Um, and he's going to be joining today to talk about Nations Cup 2020, which is potentially on the way in March of next year. Welcome, T90Official.
Oh my God, I've been such a fan for years.
He's already ruining my YouTube. We'll just cut that out. We'll just cut that out.
Yeah, just cut that out, of
Yeah.
course.
So
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
yeah, and we always talk about this stupid stuff when no one else is around. I think the last time we were in Discord, we talked for like 3 hours after
Yeah,
a game.
this is true.
We fanboy over certain players hard, and this is a nice little thing to do. I've been looking forward to doing this for a while. So, Nations Cup 2020. If anyone's not familiar with Nations Cup, there's been, is it 3 iterations before this or 2 iterations?
Definitely two, because there was one in 2015. Because I remember when I first joined the community, I was getting really into it.
Yeah, and that was the one that China won, correct? Was it
Um,
China or
I
Brazil? China.
it was. I mean, both are good guess, but I think that was China,
China beat
and
Canada
then
in the finals. That was it.
there. I believe there was one previous to that as well, but at that point, I wasn't really active in the community, and I don't recall.
Guys, we have done some research, don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. We just forgot to look that up, okay?
Yeah, the old ones. I went way too far back. I should have stayed with
Yep.
2017. We did look up 2017. Um, Basically, what I've done is I've created a tier list, like you can see here. We've got different rankings along the way, and I've have a flag for every single country that participated in Nations Cup 2017. If your country doesn't have a flag, or you notice a country that doesn't have a flag here, it's because they didn't participate in the previous tournament. There are a few countries that might participate in this one coming up that didn't do so in 2017, and when we have a full roster of teams, then maybe we can do this again. But for
Yeah.
the time being, I think we have 30 something countries here. I don't know. I'm not going to count on a recording or live on stream or do any math.
38.
Yeah,
38.
38. There we go. I'm going to trust you on that one. And I think there were 47 total teams because countries can have more than one team. So,
Yes, and some of these countries had a lot of teams.
yeah, like Netherlands, Germany, Chile had like 5 teams.
Yep.
So I've
6.
I've made the rankings into 5 different categories. We've got favorites at the top in the red. So these are the teams that will be definitely competing for the top prize. A few of them that come to mind, but we'll talk about those later. Contenders are teams that are right on the brink of being in that group with the favorites. Competitive teams are basically teams that can pull an upset. I think in the last Nations Cup, Chile B had a huge upset, and they would probably fall under the competitive teams
Mhm.
listing. Yellow, bright yellow is could win a game. That would probably be my team from last Nations Cup. Canada B. I think we won a couple games. It was fun nonetheless. And then tier number 5 is actually Netherlands D, which um, yeah, Netherlands D was not the greatest team in last Nations Cup. Nimino, Foghorn, uh, who else did it have?
I think is actually, according to your spreadsheet here, it was Netherlands C. Had Nimino, Ivik, Hank, Foghorn, and Queros.
Disaster. Oh, but
So
neither
either you
plebs,
screwed up
dude.
the
No,
tier list or
neither plebs and Dutch class were on Netherlands D. So
that worked.
terrible, awful team.
We know these players. We've known them for a long time, so that's why we're able to give them shit.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
to save Dave's reputation. This doesn't hurt my reputation because it's on his channel. So
There is a Netherlands F, by the way. I presume they were worse than Netherlands D and C, but I don't know anyone on there, so
yeah.
I didn't feel comfortable putting them at the bottom of the tier list. Anyway,
Hmm.
we're gonna do this in alphabetical order. We do have a list of all the teams from the previous Nations Cup with players. It's a gigantic list. There's 47 teams on average. Each team has around 5 to 6 players. it was a 4v4 tournament. Um, so I can't really show it on the screen because
Can
you wouldn't be able to read it, but I'll be able to share this afterwards, probably in the info of the video.
Do you think it makes a lot of sense to just go through some of these teams in the background, discuss it, and then make our tier list? Because that would be better for my brain to discuss before we toss them up there.
That's going to be a 3-hour video.
I mean, hey, you're in charge, but there's a lot I want to say about some of
It's
these
so
teams, man.
unorganized, man. We can go through. Okay, we're gonna be ranking the countries based on their best team. So we're not ranking them on
Yeah,
average. We're ranking them on their chances of winning Nations Cup. There's a few countries with an A team and a B team that both have a chance of
yeah.
winning. Um, so we're just gonna go off the best team that they have. And I guess we can discuss all the teams under that flag before we rank the best team, if that works for you. I don't really
On
get.
second thought, on second thought, I'm just thinking about it now. It might make sense to just do it category by category. Like, let's say, for example, I'm going to throw up Brazil right now to favorites, and we can have a conversation then about Brazil A and Brazil B once we get our favorites up there.
Shouldn't we start at the bottom though?
You want to start with could win a game?
No, I want to start with Netherlands D.
All right, so
But
let's
like,
start
if we
there.
start at the top, then there's no one's gonna stick. No one sticks around to the end of my videos anyway. But no one's gonna stick around
That's
to the
true.
end of the video. You should know
All right,
this.
that's true. Okay, we got to make people stick around. All right, so let's start with Netherlands D, I guess.
Now all the flags are messed up. Now they're all okay. Uh,
This is really I'm glad this isn't my video.
this
This
is
is
why
really testing.
this is why I did it in alphabetical order.
Oh, I see. Okay. I got Netherlands right anyway. So I'm just
So,
going to put Netherlands next to Netherlands D. I think that makes a whole lot of sense.
but I don't think they are that tier though. You're ruining my video.
Dude, I'm not ruining your
We're
video by giving my
screw
opinion
it.
on something.
Screw it. Only my tier list is showing on the
Yeah.
screen. Screw it. We're doing it my way. We're starting with Argentina. Tristan, where are you placing Argentina on your tier list? Talk a little bit about the Argentinian team,
Okay.
etc.
All right. I think I got it now. Sorry, Dave and I don't have a lot of we don't have a lot of time to get to know each other, so this is weird. Um So Argentina A previously had FedEx, Nikov, Milo or Mio, Patton, Manos, Juan, Gary, and Twig. That's a lot of players.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna put Argentina as not a favorite, but as contenders. Because I think players like FedEx would probably come back and play, but he's been pretty inactive. Gary, Juan, Manos, a lot of these names are inactive. So that the names that really catch my eye would be Nikov, Twig. You know what? I'm going to put them down to competitive teams, actually, not even contenders, because Nikov and
Wow.
Twig, Nikov and Twig, I mean, it depends on who comes back to play, but Nikov and Twig are the only active players on this list.
I've seen FedEx though. Like every time I see FedEx, I think he's rusty, and then I see him and he's more impressive than I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And he does. For anyone that doesn't know FedEx, he does compete in chess as well. He's a grandmaster
Yeah,
in
yeah.
chess, so I think that it would take him less time than your average player to get back
And
into the game. And it is important to note, we haven't mentioned this.
3v3.
It is a 3v3
Yeah,
tournament.
I bumped them back up because of that. I remember it's three. If it is going to be 3v3, they're contenders for sure.
Yeah.
Because then Nikov and Twig are beastly, and then they could find any one of these players that
Yeah.
were playing with them before to be a solid third.
I mean, Nikov and Twig, great players, and then FedEx is probably the next tier, and then you have Juan and Gary and Patton, who
Mm-hmm.
are all like really, really good. And then there's Mio, of course, who's also a solid player.
Yeah.
I'd put him at probably at the bottom of the list here, assuming everyone's in form, but lot of great options there. So yeah, I'm gonna join you with contenders if it's a
Okay.
3v3 tournament.
Okay.
All right.
So Australia then.
Australia, they have Robo. I guess
I guess Robo didn't play last time.
he's admitting the tournament, so maybe it would have
Yeah.
been a conflict of interest. It will be this time around too.
To be honest, I think they're not a contender, but they're a competitive team for sure. I'm looking at the list from before. Christ is solid 2K.
Let's improve.
All caps is solid 2K. I know Let's Improve. Um, he hasn't really been playing to improve, funny enough, for a while. But he's around 2K 1v1, and then you have Robo, and I don't know. I do feel as though, I know Zane was on Australia B. I don't know why, but if Zane were to play on A, Zane is also really good. So
Hmm.
I think that they're definitely a competitive team because they have like 3 to 5 solid 2K players, and they also, I think Zane and Christ play together a lot.
Yeah, and that's something you can't really look past. Like 1v1s, you look at the rating to determine and
Yeah,
like history to determine how the results are going to go. But with team games, a lot of it comes down to chemistry. Like if they play together a lot
yeah,
and if they're friends and everything, they might actually do better. I I'll put them in competitive. It's like right on the border between could win a game and competitive teams.
hmm,
And maybe I'm just not being generous enough, but I don't think they have. Well, maybe they have a shot to get like top 16. Maybe they have a
yeah,
shot.
yeah. That's pretty much when I say competitive. Like I
Okay.
think not losing the first round.
Okay,
you
so
know,
we could
so
say favorites is top 4, contenders is top 8,
yep,
competitive is top 16, could win a game is top 32, and then Netherlands D is wooden spoon runner
yeah,
up.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
For anyone who's not familiar, wooden spoon is the noob section. Well, not even noob, just the lower section of the tournament. Once you've got kicked out of the qualification stage, there is a wooden spoon event that has another bracket building up to a final for the wooden spoon champion. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things about Nations Cup, right? Is that everyone can participate.
Yep.
Many of these teams that are going to be classified as Netherlands D and could win a game, they don't really care that they're not in favorites or contenders. They just want to play and have fun. You make some friends and you have a good time.
Yep. So Austria is our next country along the list. Austria depends a lot on a couple players.
Yep.
You got to have Leary playing well. LB10 is an extremely good player as well. And
Yep.
then it's just who's that third?
Well, on Austria A previously, there was Teutonic Tanks,
And
Lavi
Labby.
Head, and then I don't know who the other person Imp Gotten is. But so I know Nadia, who's Lavi, is kind of inactive. Tanks is active in the community, and I know he plays a lot of team games, so he definitely has experience there. So you also have Clemensor, who was on Austria B, but I would probably think that he's close to Tank. So you're right. If Leary's in form, man, he could win with any pleb. So
Hmm.
that's good. And LB10 is certainly an amazing player. 2K2 player, has played a lot. So I I don't quite see. Let's see. We said contenders is top 8, right?
Well,
Hmm.
I think the question for me is I know Sling's going to be nerfed in this. Does
Yeah, but
having
how?
yeah, but does having one strong player on your team, like one really dominant player on your team, does Sling being nerfed help you or hurt you?
It hurts you.
Yeah.
You want? I think you would. Well, just imagine if it was Tanks Leary and LB10 and Sling wasn't nerfed. They just have Tanks full Stonewall and Sling Leary.
Yep.
It'd be.
And then
I mean, and I.
LB10 don't die, basically.
Yeah. So, um, I think it would hurt you. But anyways, I'm gonna put them in competitive teams because at least currently, I think Leary. He's certainly not what he was last year. He's not playing as much. He's not quite as motivated. And then obviously there's a big question mark over the third player on the team. But
Hmm.
not saying I don't want them to do well. I think I'd put them between 8 and 16.
It's weird though with players. Sometimes playing for your country motivates you more. Like you think
Yeah.
about him not being motivated for a tournament that has thousands of dollars on the line,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like he knows he's never going to win the prize money in Nations Cup, but playing for your country ups your level a little bit.
I think with him though, because I recall from the 2v2 World Cup, he didn't even play some of the sets.
Okay, maybe not.
So yeah, like it was LB10 and I forget, but yeah, Leary didn't show his best form and didn't show a ton of motivation there. So for that reason, I put them 8 to 16, keeping in mind that some of the flags we're going to get to have not only solid A teams but B teams. So I'm counting like
And C
we're gonna get
teams
and
for
C
some of
teams
them. Yeah.
exactly. So that's what I'm keeping that in mind. I'm not just gonna put 4 flags in favorites. I think we're gonna go with the teams themselves. Possibly, we'll see.
All right. So now we're on to one of the true champions of Nations Cup, Belarus, and they've got some legends such as Oldushek. I actually recognize that name.
I
And,
do too. Yeah, I think he's decent.
well, his Vubli link is right there.
Oh,
Uh,
never mind. I think I don't know. He's not that good.
I think maybe Canada beat them. I can't remember. I'm gonna put them in could win a game, and
I agree.
their Belarus doesn't have a really great player base, like big player base, so it's a good thing if they can manage to scramble together a team again. I think it's going to be a lot easier for a lot of these countries now that it's 3v3. 4v4 was a struggle. Usually for 4v4 you need like 6 players.
Hmm.
Because you want to have that buffer zone, right, of a couple extras. And that's
So
hard for a lot of countries.
now this obviously depends on the quality of the other teams that sign up, but I'm tempted to put them in Netherlands D because
Whoa, whoa, whoa! You disrespecting my boy Oldushek? Yo, dude.
well, this just listen. I've done some investigating. He's 1800 1v1 1700 team game.
Yeah, that's
Andre
enough to
is
put him in could win a
hold on.
game.
Listen. Andre is less than that, and then Opera almost has a losing record on the beginners ladder. He has 179 wins and 167 losses in the beginners ladder. Uh, only played 40 games in RM1v1 and one team game and then you have Button 10 who has yeah, I mean he's like 1600 1700 1v1.
Listen,
So
listen. I'm gonna make a Boldushek prediction
okay.
and say that they're gonna win a game.
I mean, I
I
just
don't
don't know
think
who they're
I
going to
don't
play
think no,
against.
but
That's all.
I don't think you realize like how you're rattling that off those ratings as if they're bad. Like 1700 is very good for the general player base, and there's going to be 100 up to 128 teams in this tournament. That's what Robo said. There was
Yeah.
47 in the previous Nations Cup. We won like 3 games. Canada B won like 3 games last Nations Cup. We had a couple guys who had only played like 20 games multiplayer.
Yeah.
So
But they're Netherlands D for me. Just because
can we move
we
on?
don't have
Belgium.
separate flags for multiple teams. So like when you're saying that like yeah, Chile has 7 teams and they
Okay.
have 5
Yeah, I
that might be
see.
bad.
Yeah, I
Like
see what you're getting.
Chile A is a beast. So
All right.
or is
Well,
beastly.
we'll put them in Netherlands D. Yeah.
Okay.
Um not. Belgium. Belgium.
This is an interesting one.
I feel like Project
Uh
Belgium's gotten better since the
yeah,
last Nations Cup. Yeah.
he's really good. He's also particularly good on non-Arabia, unlike a lot of pros in the community.
Hmm.
He plays a lot of Nomad and stuff, so he knows how to adapt. However, as far as teammates go, he has Idafix, who's a strong 17/1800.
Mystic Clouds, who's like a perennial 17-1800 player for the last 10 years.
Yeah, he
He's
plays
really
a
good.
lot of Black Forest team games
Dude,
though, so that helps.
Mystic is really good on like uh mega random and stuff too.
Hmm.
On like water hybrid maps and stuff. He's good at teaming with people who are better than him and holding his own,
Hmm.
which I think is a
Yeah,
really good trait for Nations Cup.
and then you have Gentle, who, dude, I haven't seen. Gentle occasionally plays some BF, but I don't think he's in a competitive place at all.
Sir Duke is a his name is Andreas. He's a custom scenario player. He's like
Mm,
it. He doesn't play much, but he's got extremely good micro and he's quick. And I think he's like 1800 1v1 Arabia.
okay.
So there's a possibility that he would come back for it. I don't think so, but
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah. I mean, I would put these guys under could win a game. I don't think that I could consider them competitive, considering Project Belgium's the only player who plays at a very high level and
Yeah.
is active. Mystic plays a lot, but he tends to play, I think, just Black Forest team games, and then Gentle when he is active, that's all he does. And I think he uses like a zoomed out res and it's more casual. So
Yeah,
and Idafix is great and all, but I think he's somewhat active, but I still don't see him competing with the likes of some of these other teams.
they're
So
definitely at the top tier of could win a game though.
yes,
They're
yeah,
like
for
near the
sure.
top of that list. I'm gonna shift them to the front. It's gonna go left to right in terms of
Could win 2 games.
yeah. They could win. They could win a couple sets actually.
Yeah.
All right, next one, Brazil. This is a very important civ, or not civ. I'm so used to the drafts. This is a very important country on the list, and probably the top three for sure in terms of favorites.
Yep.
Last year they went to or last Nations Cup they went to the finals. They ended up losing out to Finland, 4-3. It was a 7-game series in China.
Yep.
They have two top tier teams and then a potential to have another team that's a competitive team.
Yeah. Yeah, Brazil is stacked. It's important to note that both Brazil A and Brazil B made it to the semifinals of the last Nations Cup, and they faced off against each other.
Mm-hmm.
Brazil B actually beat Brazil A 4-0, which is something else. Um, but to have two teams make it to the semifinal puts you as an instant favorite. It's very easy for us because if Brazil A or Brazil B does good, we're going to look good. So, yeah, that's definitely something for
We
me.
actually might see a competitive Brazil C as well since it's 3v3 now. I mean, Brazil C was really
Mm.
good in the last Nations Cup. They had like
Yeah.
Scrath, Jose, Goodfella, Mahori, Refn. Like they had a lot of decent players.
Hmm.
Um, but we might see people like maybe Alive, maybe like Bruh move to a Brazil C.
Yeah, are you showing in your video the list of the names, or are we just
No, no,
reading them
no,
off?
no, no.
Okay,
It's too big.
so I think this is a good point from you. So I'm just going to read it off now. Brazil A was Riot, Fire, Goku, Alive, and Bruh, and Brazil B was Dogal, Miguel, Stark, and Fiege. So I think with a 3v3 event, teams are probably going to have 4 people at the highest level because some people might be specialists and more comfortable in certain modes. So I doubt that Brazil A would still have 5, but like Alive and Bro, for example, I think Bro is more active, and I think Bro is currently a better player than Alive. But would they consider grabbing a third like Mahori or Goodfella if you were or Jose? Like, I don't know. I think you're right, and I think there's some real possibility there. One thing I'm for sure on though is that players who are on Brazil A will not go to Brazil B, and players who are on Brazil B will not go to
They
Brazil
don't
A. I
like
know
each
that.
other.
Yeah, I know that for a fact. In fact, I'm not even sure. I don't know what the relationship is like with Stark and the other Brazil B players. Because I've heard some things, so it's possible that maybe it will be Dogal, Miguel, Fiege, and Stark will kind of be out on his own there. Um, like Fire likes to play with Goku, from what I understand, and Riot likes to play with Fire, and then I think Dogal, Miguel have some issues, or they're not complete. They don't think Goku's good enough, and it kind of complicates things that Fire always wants him. So
Mm.
that's why they're split.
I
But
like
there's some drama there that's never come to light, and I don't think it ever will. So,
Yeah, every time I talk to Jose about it, he's like, "Don't even ask. It's too complicated. I can't keep track
yeah,
of it
yeah,
anymore." The Brazilian
yep,
community in Age of Empires 2 is pretty close, and they all know each other. I think they've had meetups in the past too,
yeah,
and there's like even a girl that gets in the way of them. It's like a really weird like drama thing. So,
yeah,
regardless, I'm gonna put them in favorites, of course. I
yes,
mean, there's only arguably two countries that I would put in front of them, and even that is an argument to be had, right? So
hmm.
definitely in the favorites, very very strong country in terms of the amount of skilled players that they have, and
What
yeah,
question here? Which team do you think is better, Brazil A or Brazil B? Considering it's a 3v3, so probably Riot, Fire, Goku, and Dogal, Miguel, maybe Fiege or Stark.
if it's Dogal Miguel Stark, I say Brazil B. If
Okay,
it's Degao, Miguel, Fiage, well, Stark would play regardless. Yeah. I'd
Hmm.
say Brazil B is probably the better team at the moment.
I agree. I think Riyadh's not playing enough, but they're still very close. If anything, I think it makes the teams closer
Mhm.
than they might have been in the 4v4.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, and next flag is going to be fun.
The next flight, Canada. I find Canada to be a really interesting team this Nations Cup coming up because
Hmm.
they won't have Chris. That's basically been confirmed. I've talked to Hera. I've heard from Slam. I talked to Mentalist a while ago, and all of them are pretty much consistent with the fact that Chris isn't coming back ever
He's done. Yeah.
to the game, which is really unfortunate because he's my favorite player of all time. Um, so that's sad, but maybe he's passed the torch a little bit. I mean, Hera's getting really good.
Hmm.
Like we've been through this before, where we always say, Hera's the up and comer, and then he leaves, right? And then
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. But he's actually between the streaming, the YouTube. It seems like he's analyzing his games more. He has a better mindset than he's ever had before, and I think he could maybe bring that into Nations Cup 2020, and he has that experience of playing with AM, the very top level team
Yes.
games.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that Hera will kind of be leading the way in terms of skill and activity going into Nations Cup. For all the reasons that you mentioned. Slam, I freaking love to death, but his
Tournaments.
inactivity. Well, yeah.
Well, team
First off,
game tournaments he's fine. Yeah.
his inactivity worries me, and it could be due to the time zone. It could be due to a lot of things, but he comes and goes, and so I don't think that he would not play for Canada A, but I don't know how much training Canada would be able to put in, considering those factors. That said, if you have almost wanted to say healthy like it's a sport. if you if you have a healthy and motivated Slam, Hera, and Mentalist, that is a beastly team. Um, they could possibly bring Raw in, but I some of the other players on this list, well, mainly Raw, I see. I just don't see Raw being needed if there's Slam, Mentalist,
Hey,
and
wait
Hera.
a second. Rob was on AOC Zone asking who he
I
contacts
saw
to
that.
be in Canada A, and there's always like you want probably 4 or 5 players, 4, 5, or 6,
Hmm.
even with 3v3, because you need someone to take the games during the dog shit rounds.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The early stages. That's true. You need someone who can play in the games where there's no
and
risk you'll lose.
and you need practice partners because you don't always want to practice with other teams. Number one, it's really hard to find 3v3s against
Hmm.
competitive teams. So if you have 6 players and you can practice 3v3s, um, and you have your A squad on one side and your B squad on the other side, that's
Yeah,
really really important. And it kind of builds up the team spirit, right?
yeah,
So especially if you're practicing strategies you don't want your opponents to see, which happens, I think happens quite a bit.
yeah. But then again, you got to consider Raw has probably typed more in my Twitch chat than he's played Age of Empires games over the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's why,
So,
dude.
like, he's not going to train. Is he going to be a good training partner?
I think
I don't
so.
know.
And they've got Luca
Okay.
too. Luca's getting better, although
Oh
he
shit, Luca.
he
Luca
tilts
could
quite a bit.
definitely play. Well,
Yeah.
he's like a mini Hera. It'll take him a couple years
Well,
to figure that out. He
and
can, dude. He could definitely play. He could definitely play as a fourth on Canada A. He has the skill for it.
and I was talking to some people the other day, and
Okay.
Canada A might be bringing in a mascot this year, next year.
You?
Yeah. Listen, this is my theory, okay? It's not set in stone. I hope it is. I really hope it is. But I think that this team needs a coach.
Dave, this is Dave. This is what Dave sounds like when he's interviewing for the job. Go ahead.
This is,
Dave, Dave, do you really think you're gonna offer more insight than Slam and Hurricane to the team?
I think so.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I think
I
no,
won't
they
argue
don't
with you
need
there.
they don't need insight. This is what they need. They need someone in the middle of a game when Slam wants to go forward with his archers for no reason whatsoever and not wall up the side of his base. They need someone to be like, "Yo, Slam. Yo, dude. Play it
Hera does
smart,
that.
bro."
Hera does that shit too. So it's like Dave's job will just be don't over micro your units. Do
Yes.
not send those units forward. Just wait till you upgrade them. That's all Dave will
Well,
say to Hera and Slam.
well, and I could probably jump in there for a nomad. I don't know. Well, I just
Yeah.
want to be the.
You
I want to play one game for the team. That's it.
Dave, you will be the player who plays through all the dog shit rounds
Yeah,
while Hera does other things.
I'm that guy. Yeah, that's me.
All right. So with all that said, where do you put Canada? Because
It's really
we said that
tough.
we would have. I mean, it's definitely between contenders and favorites. I'm on the fence. Like I am leaning back and forth on that
I'm
fence.
just thinking who's going to be in front of them if we're talking top 4.
Dude, you got both Chinese teams.
Because yeah, but you got both Chinese teams, or maybe even 3 Chinese teams,
Finland.
both Brazilian teams, Finland. But the thing is, on our tier list, we're talking about top 4 countries,
Yeah,
or are
yeah.
we talking about top 4 teams? Like,
I think top 4 countries makes let's do that
okay,
because we can't just have a Chinese and a Brazilian flag up there. That wouldn't make sense. Because we have to put China in favorites, we have to put Finland in favorites, and China has
well,
3 teams. We would be over
stop
4.
spoiling. We might have casuals here if they didn't already
Okay.
leave. I don't know what's wrong with them if they didn't leave already, but
Yeah.
all right, I'm putting them in favorites. They're definitely at the lowest end of the favorites because there's too
Yeah.
many questions around them. We
Mhm.
know that they have 3 very good players in Slam, Hera, and Mentalist, but once again, the activity, the teamwork between them, they've got to the finals before, but they had Chris to kind of bring them together and keep them on
Mhm.
track. So we'll see where they go this time around. We need to hurry this up, man. We're not even. Can we just?
No, this is why hurry it up. This is good conversation. Screw it. Who cares how long it is?
All right. Kind of need to sleep tonight.
All right.
Um,
So Chile is next,
look how
and they
many
had
teams.
they had 6 teams, and dude, I recognize people on every team.
I
This is
know
an active country.
the Chileans have a crazy community. Like they're always playing together.
Mhm.
Um, they're in the same like 3 clans. Like we got like RCL and Chileno and like
Yeah.
those types of clans. Actually, last year, or not last year, sorry, last Nations Cup, Chile B had one of the biggest upsets, I think, of the tournament.
Yeah.
Remember when they beat Germany, who was like Skittle, Nilly, Andorin, like a bunch of good, well-known players.
Yeah.
They beat them by going double castle conquistador rush on
Mhm.
cross. That was an
Yeah.
insane game.
So, looking at these teams actually, I think the B team is better than the A team.
Oh, it is
And that
now.
was
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Wasepi, Nero, well, Nero hasn't played in a while, dude, which is sad, but Wasepi, Whitecourt, and No Isaac. Whitecourt and No Isaac got better over the last 2 years for sure.
hmm
No Isaac, 300 points better to be specific in 1v1s. I do know Whitecourt said he quit the game 2 months ago.
I saw him in my
Um,
Twitch chat the other day, so
yeah, he said he will always be on streams, but he said he quit the game. So let's just assume that he's going to be like everyone else who's ever said that and come back.
especially for a
Um,
Nations Cup, yeah, he'll probably
yeah,
come
yeah.
back.
So I think Chile B is pretty strong. I put them as a competitive team. Um, And that could also be the case for Chile A, who had Sobek, Wako, and Arubio Catan. So that's just where I have them because still you have. I mean, I would like to see Sobek play with Whitecourt and No Isaac personally, but he's a very good player, and arguably the best Chilean player there is.
Yeah, if they formed like an elite squad of their best, they could definitely fit into the competitive teams bracket.
Hmm.
I mean, they're probably
Yep.
going to be there regardless, even if they just keep the teams from last Nations Cup. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think Chile. It's a huge community from Chile. Um, Unfortunately for them, they don't really have the best players to go into that contender stage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna move them in front of Australia, in between Austria and Australia in that competitive teams.
Okay. I think that makes a lot of sense. They're definitely in front of Australia in my eyes, but not ahead of Austria.
hmm Man, we're getting all the good teams early. Here comes China. Oh my goodness, possibly the best. Well, the best country in Age of Empires 2 for in terms of skilled players, like
Yes,
by far.
definitely.
Just and I always look forward to Nations Cup. I look forward to the last one, and I remember in the one before that, there's always a bunch. There you get like 3 or 4 Chinese players you've never really seen before, and they come
Yeah.
from Vubli, China. They show
Yep.
up and they start like just demolishing people that you thought were good.
Yeah. Dude, I'm looking at some of these accounts right now that was on the China C team, half of which actually hold on, most of which I don't recognize. And the last time they were active was like late 2017, late 2018, and their 1v1s have all decayed down to 2K.
Yeah, but they're
So
on
like
Vubli,
basically
China.
exactly, basically they just played some games here. They're probably above 2K, decayed down, and they're playing Vubli China.
Like
Yeah, so
look at these
it's
names.
crazy.
EMASN. Okay, no idea who that is. I am okay. I know who that is.
Yeah.
I am Muzki. Who the hell is that? Xiaohai, I
Uh
know.
Muski, Dave, his RM 1v1 rating is, oh no, I clicked the wrong person. I was gonna say, how is he 2K3? Yeah, Xiaohai's beastly. Stray Dog is on there. Stray Dog's beastly.
Bat
IMO3's
zero zero
beastly.
one. Who the
He's
who's
not. He's
Bat
not very
zero zero
beastly.
one?
He was their mascot.
Yeah, there's and with 3v3 too, we might see China with like 6 teams.
Yeah, cause so there's something that I believe might be in the works in terms of clans in China, from what I've heard. So if let's just read through China Frantic and China SY because there's
Okay.
two big Chinese clans right now in general. So on Frantic is Tim, Joffrey, Whoop. Actually, I think the teams have slightly changed. Tim, Joffrey, Whoop, Vivi, and Happy Happy. Um, and then SY had Yo, Paladin or Feng Jing, Yinghua, Lix, and whoever 2K3 is. That's probably Pretty Boy, who's yeah, okay. So what's wrong with that picture is the most well-known Chinese players there are split up. You have Tim and Vivi, and then you have Yo and Lix, and they're on separate teams.
Who would be okay, here's an interesting thought experiment. Who would be your top Chinese team for 3v3?
Well, let me finish my thought first
Okay.
before I answer that.
Okay.
So what I've heard, so Paladin or Feng Jing, who's on Yo's team, he was like back when the SY sponsor was active, I believe he was like active in participating with the SY sponsor. He was the biggest Chinese streamer and caster. He was the shit, basically. And so, as far as I know, Paladin did not get along well with Tim, who is another popular Chinese player and streamer. And so, for that reason, they were split. And so, what I've heard is, and this is not necessarily for Nations Cup, but the clans in general, that since Paladin's not even playing for SY anymore, there's no reason for Yo and Lix not to team with Tim and Vivi. So, there's no personality conflicts between Yo Vivi or Yo Tim, which
Hmm.
means that they should form one solid a team. Um, and if that happens, to answer your question, I think it's got to be Yo, Vivi, and then it,
You got to go Tim.
it's between Tim and Lix there,
No,
and
you got to go Tim, man.
it's I think just do 4 of them,
Yeah.
right? Have them all be on A, and then you can sub a solid player in if need be. So,
Yep. Cool.
but
It'll
Lix
be
is you know how good Lix is in just buying time and making things messy while Yo booms.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah, if you're in a
yeah,
flank against Licks in 3v3, 4v4, hell, even a 2v2, you're like, "Okay, where are my stones?"
yep.
He's coming forward.
But that then leaves like 8 or 9 Chinese players who are amazing. You
Yep.
could have you could have Stray Dog. I know in the 1 2v2 in the past, Stray Dog. I think Stray Dog's on Frantic now, Dave. So like Stray Dog teamed with Tim in the past, and he went like conks or something. So I really don't think we should waste time talking about every team, but they could have 4 teams as competitive teams, and one as favorite. It's
Mhm.
ridiculous.
Yep.
So for that reason, I'm putting them as favorite, and I'm actually going to put them ahead of Canada. And oh
I'm
man, I
putting
don't
them
know if
ahead
I
of
want to put them.
Brazil. I'm putting them ahead of Brazil. They're
I think
better.
I think so as well. Yeah,
I think they had in the last Nations Cup, that was like at the height of the divide between the Chinese teams.
yeah,
There was some of them that were streaming on Panda and there was some of them that were streaming on Douyu. Do you remember that?
yes, yes,
And then they had the teams as well, and there was like this whole, I think there was a lot of money behind the scenes, and there was a lot of like streaming
Drama.
questions and drama, and they didn't make it to the finals, which was disappointing. And yeah, I
Well,
think they're in a better place now than they were then, especially with all the practice from um, the escape tournament.
they're more active than the Brazilian players are for sure. Because most of them do it full time. Jacob, look at this. The quarterfinals of the last Nations Cup, China SY. Now keep in mind SY and Frantic had best players split. China SY lost to Finland 3-2, so it was super close. China Frantic beat Canada A 3-2. And so then in the semifinal, China Frantic lost to Finland 4-3. So both Chinese teams lost to
Lost to
Finland by
Finland.
one game. And then you have to wonder, if the best players are all on one team and not split up, are they better than Finland?
Well, and
So
Finland went on to win the
the
titles.
whole thing.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
in a 4-3 set. So
Yeah.
I
Yep.
actually remember this from the last Nations Cup. I think Finland. The running joke was like they can't pull it out until it's the last game of the set because I think they were
Yeah.
a couple games ahead on multiple like important sets and just kept
Yeah.
dropping games until the final one. So
Okay. Well, China is they if we were to stack up all their teams, they're just gonna mop up everyone. Like it's amazing. They could be in favorites, contenders, and competitive teams. And I can't think of one team, at least from the players that we see here, that would be in Netherlands D or could win a game. So that's just how good China
no,
is.
the Chinese just don't sign up for like
Yeah,
the
that's the thing.
that level of player isn't even like allowed to sign up or something. I don't
Yeah,
know. Or maybe they just a lot of them don't speak English, so unless they're gonna
yeah.
potentially win, they're not gonna bother.
I think that's it. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of players on Vubli China.
Okay, Colombia.
Colombia have a lot of players, but unlike China, unlike China, I recognize very few of them,
Yo, you
and
throwing you throwing shade at my boy Pegaso 94?
I don't see them being anything above competitive teams. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put them in could win a game. If we have Belgium in could win a game, I think Colombia belongs there as well. I'm sure they have lots of active players because I see Colombian players online all the time, but for the most part, it's just mid range to low range team game players with a few exceptions.
I'm
So,
gonna put them behind Belgium and in front of Belarus because
I forgot to put Belarus up there.
I think Pegaso 94 is probably better than Oldushek.
Oh yeah, I put Belarus. I put Belarus in Netherlands D. That's why I couldn't find him. So,
Yeah. Okay,
all
we
right.
can move on.
Yep.
We can move on to the Czech Republic. Czech Republic's a very interesting one because for years they were considered one of the top teams in the world.
Yes.
And they've always been competitive. The CZ clan or CZ clan has always been great, pumping out great players, but I feel like they've lost a lot of them to inactivity.
Yep, they've lost a lot of them to inactivity. So to read off the list here, it's Ovanka. Ovanka's active. He's solid. Skull. I don't see a lot from him. He's barely active. Mango. I think he was online today. Let's look. He plays some team games every once in a while. And then Yannick is barely around. Error's barely around, Dave. So yeah, I mean, really depends on if they show up and if they're active. Even the B team for Czech had Drakant, who I know in the past has played a lot, but he's not playing much. So
And Loiza, of
um,
course, is not. Loiza wasn't
not
even the
playing.
last Nations Cup.
Yeah, exactly. He apparently is going pretty steady with that girl because I think that was the reason. So
Well, the one thing I will say in favor of the Czech Republic is if there's more than enough time, and if a player like Loiza wants to come back, if Yannick, I think their top team would probably be Loiza, Yannick, Error, maybe.
yeah, I agree.
If those three guys want to get active, and since it is a 3v3 tournament, they could suddenly, if all of them got active, got back into the game, they could go into that competitive teams tier. I think they.
Yeah.
This is a difficult one. If whether we put it in could win a game or if we put them in competitive teams, because I'm not familiar with who's active at the moment.
Let's just assume that they're going to be active.
Okay,
Let's
so put them in
let's assume they're going to
competitive.
be active.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would put them now. How good they're going to be when they're active is something else. I'm going to put them ahead of Australia
Yep.
and behind Chile.
That's exactly the same position I put him in, dude.
Okay. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that's a really interesting country to me because I was always a fan of all of their top players. Like
Yeah. Same.
watching Yannick on water is insane, man. On the old water meta on islands, he was crazy, and Error was a really good player too. But yeah, they've just kind of gone inactive. Denmark
Okay.
A. They've gotten better, I think.
They definitely have improved because a lot of these players were probably just a few years into playing the game
Like
back then.
Dobbs was 1600 back then, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, I maybe not 1600, but 17, 1800. The thing is, Dobbs is mainly a 1v1 player, but you have Street Pete, Poxycat, Krazini, Dobbs, Fajur, Salad, and Durpod. But the best player here would be Dobbs. And I don't see him as a captain type figure, and he doesn't play a ton of team games either. So I'm on the fence with Denmark. Are they at competitive teams or are they at could win a game? And I'm going to put them in could win a game.
I'm gonna put them
Um,
at the front of could win a game though, because there's I don't know, when you get like 1800s, 1900s teaming with each other, that's a lot better than a lot of the other teams in Nations Cup.
yeah, but it's a three. You're putting them ahead of Belgium
I'll put mm,
because if Mystic
Belgium comes
Clouds.
first in the alphabet. I'll put them next.
Okay, yeah, I have Belgium, Denmark, and then Colombia there.
Okay. Yeah, and
Next
then
one's fun. Oh,
who was
sorry.
that Danish player that used to play Arabia? 2K plus.
Danish used to play Arabia 2K plus. He
He
obviously didn't sign up for this because
No,
it's not one of these
you'd
guys.
know him. He wasn't even signed up for Nations Cup. You'd know him if you
Oh,
heard the name.
oh, oh, oh.
Yeah, I can't
Kangen
remember.
stayed.
Yeah,
Kangen stayed.
Kong.
He was playing 1v1s yesterday.
Okay.
Kangen stayed. His other account is long hair, don't care, I think. um,
If he
I mean,
signs
he's
up,
he's a solid 2K. Yeah, if you had Dobbs and Kangen stayed, I mean, what they would have over Belgium there is that they have two proven 2K players. Um, So yeah, I think that'd be quite close actually if he plays. That's a good point. I was just going off of the list of players that played in 2017.
I'm putting him in front just because
All
Kong.
right.
Cool.
Okay.
Um, Next one along the line is what flag is this?
Finland?
Oh, did I
What?
skip? Did I skip one? I've got an extra one. Who's in front of Finland?
Did you put the did you put the Ecuador flag
I might
instead of
have.
the
I
I
might
did the
have.
same thing. That's how I know. I just realized that the flags look so similar. Like Colombia's flag is literally Ecuador's flag with the logo on top of it. It's the exact same. Except the red
No, is
tint
this
seems to be different.
Ecuador's flag though?
You had Ecuador's up there and not Colombia's because that's what it was for me. So that's if you put Colombia up, then Finland's next.
Okay.
Yeah, that's funny. We
God,
both did that.
YouTube is gonna crucify me. How dare you?
At
Sure,
least it's not like
whatever.
Germany. If we got the German flag wrong, then you'd lose half your subscribers. So
All right, whatever. We're going
okay,
Finland.
so Finland. Finland won in 2017. Their team never has any personality disputes. They play together a lot, and they're all really, really good. Zupi, Velez, Pike, Max, and Rubenstock signed up in 2017. Those guys are still playing with each other and being beastly today. So for that reason, I think it's pretty clear it's got to be favorites. Um, but I think 4v4 hurts them, Dave. I mean, sorry, I think
3v3. Yeah.
3v3 hurts them. I think they're better in 4v4s. So for that reason, I'm even going to put them. I'm definitely putting them behind China, but if I'm going to put them behind
I wouldn't
Brazil
put
is the
them
question.
no, I'd put them behind China, not behind Brazil. No. The chemistry will make up for whatever they lose for
And
3v3.
chemistry and preparation. Finland had much better preparation than any team in the game. So yeah, second.
Okay. Um are we doing Ecuador now? I hope this is the Ecuadorian flag.
I don't have Ecuador on my list. It just goes right from Finland to
I
France
have
to
no
Germany.
idea what. There's three flags with the same colors. Maybe I downloaded two of the same flag. I
Oh
don't
wait, I
know.
think the one with the little stars on it is Ecuador. Hold on, well I got this. I'm the co-caster now.
Yeah, I don't want to switch my scene, so.
Oh no, the Ecuador flag. Fuck.
I
the
think the
Ecuador,
last one is
the Ecuador flag.
Venezuela. The one with the stars is Venezuela.
Okay. So the one with the little image with the bird on it, that is Ecuador.
What's the other one?
I'm looking right now. Colombia flag. Maybe we're right the first time? Yeah, we were right the first time.
Yeah.
It's the one without the bird.
Okay, so where'd your Ecuador flag go then?
Um my Did I don't know what's happening. I'm confused. This
Somebody
is too
find
much stress.
Ecuador.
Dude, I don't even have a list of teams from Ecuador. So I'm gonna put them on could win a game in case they sign up.
I'm putting him in Netherlands D.
All right. I'll be mean to
Okay.
Belarus and you can be mean to Netherlands D or
Okay.
Ecuador.
France. Let's go. Let's do it. France.
Um so just to read through the list, you had Eddie Sebdos, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
VM, Cital, Equus 4, Hannibal, and BZH. I only know two of these players as being active. That would be Eddie and Cital. And I think they're a competitive team, but not a contender.
Yep. And, dude, but you're forgetting about France C. They had Tarsis and Trirem.
Netherlands D.
I wish we could split up this French flag, like break it in half like a croissant and put half of it in Netherlands D.
I mean, I think that Tarsis is actually pretty. He's solid 1600. Trirem probably a bit behind that, but yeah, they would be. There are mods on my stream, and we've known them for years, so they're definitely like at the lowest of the list.
Would you put that below Australia though? That's my question. I would
Dude,
never
the
even.
other thing is there's like community game players like Hackless, and there's some solid community game players who are from France. So maybe they'd have a solid teams of 1600s. I don't
I
know.
feel like Sebdos would come back. Sebdos or VM or Hannibal, one of those players is going to come back. I'm going to put them in front of Australia because I just don't see Australia beating France.
I think Australia have more synergy and more active players. So I'm going to keep Australia in front of France.
Okay, well, we'll see then. Yes. All right.
All right, Germany's up next.
Germany. So there was a lot of discussion about Viper playing for Germany. I think that's if you have Viper
According
playing for Germany, that's kind of breaking your tournament. You know what I mean? Like the guys only lived there for what, 6 months?
according to the rules from all the previous Nations Cup, Viper would not be allowed to play for Germany.
Okay.
But I mean, if enough fanboys cry, then maybe Robo would fold. That sounds exactly like Robo to do what the people want and not what's good for the tournament. So I think it's wise for us to assume that Viper cannot play for Germany,
Okay.
and that he should be on Norway. And with that in mind, Germany still has a pretty solid team. Nili's active. Jordan 23. I mean, he's back every other month, so who even knows? But I think he
I
would
think
play.
is Anderin active?
Andoran's pretty active, as is like all of these guys are solid team game players that could pick it up and perform. So
Also,
um,
Germany had, let's see, they had 6 teams in Nations Cup
yeah,
2017. And I think, how many players did they have?
like 30 plus.
Yeah, like almost 40 players.
You know what's a team that catches my eye here is the Germany E team had Aquino, Stefan, and King Marv, and
That's a
Aquino and Marv.
way better team now. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Aquino and Marv are both much better, and Stefan has always been a beast. As far as I know, Stefan's just kind of he doesn't gel with the others on Germany A, and that's the only reason that his skill didn't take him there. Dude, you have L Quark, you have J Squared and Philip on Germany B. Those guys are solid 2Ks. I mean, Germany is full of 2K players. It's actually a bit kind of like the United States in the sense that there's a lot of 2K players, but they don't necessarily all gel together, and there's no one that's in the top 10, you
Hmm.
know. So I don't know. I would put, since we have to use one flag, I would put Germany as competitive teams. I would put them,
I'd put them at the front of competitive teams. I'd put them in front of
yeah,
Austria.
yeah, I would put them ahead of Austria
Because
as well. I agree.
there's no questions about the third for them. I mean, there's questions on who's going to fill it, but not whether
Yeah.
you're going to get a competent player.
The skill set of those German players though, more suited for 4v4s, I think. They're a bit like Finland where they've nothing flashy about them. It's just they're solid overall players. 3v3s, you need a little bit more flair and a little bit more aggression to come from your players at times. So I do think 3v3 actually hurts them a little bit, but like a team like Jordan, Nilly, Pedro, Skittle, Andrin, or even some of the other guys we mentioned, if they want to come, would all be fine.
Okay, the next flag is Hong Kong. I know
Okay.
it's like the regional municipality of Hong Kong flag or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably probably a bit of controversy surrounding this.
This is
No,
dude.
didn't want to
It's
really
like,
get into it. Let's
it's
just
like
put it
once.
somewhere.
Oh yeah, let's just click real quick. I mean, the players, I recognize these names. They all play a lot of 1v1s, and they're around 2K, and they're solid. But I
Oh,
don't know enough about them as teams. Um, so I'm gonna put them. I'm gonna put them below everyone else in competitive teams for that reason.
okay.
Just because I don't have enough information on them. I know they're solid 1v1, but I know nothing
Yeah,
else.
I never see them until it's time for like a country tournament or a big 4v4 tournament. And then
You
it's like, "Oh, Hong Kong?"
Yeah. Well, they get on at weird times. I only ever play these guys in my Smurfs when I'm tired and playing late. So they're not on when other teams are normally on.
Okay. Hungary.
Hungary. Ugh.
I don't recognize like any of these. I recognize
I
Squeak.
recognize Squeak, yeah. And I think Squeak has also hung up his boots, so to speak. Let's see, matches. He's played some team games. So it looks like he does play some team games every now and then. But as you said, I don't recognize many of his other teammates. So I'm gonna put them on could win a game, and I'm gonna put them behind Denmark
I'll put
because
them behind Belgium because Belgium definitely has. But you have Denmark in a different place than me.
I have Belgium, Denmark, and now Hungary.
Ah, there you go.
Okay, so Italy is up next. Italy is an interesting one because they play a lot together,
Yep.
and Kamigawa is not to be reckoned with. And Pete Martell, who is actually Kamigawa's brother. Did you
He's
know
got
that?
I what?
They're
You
brothers, dude.
what?
They're brothers. Yeah. So I met Kamigawa a few weeks ago at the ECL LAN, and he had me take a video for his brother. And I was like, "Oh, is your brother play Voobly?" He's like, "Yeah, he's Pete Martell."
Wasn't it Kamigawa who MBL always thought was spec cheating or something?
Yes, there was something like that in the past with him, but his 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 team games are fantastic. He plays a lot. Like he played 3 games yesterday, played 3 games on the 21st. And his 1v1 rating, I think his peak is 2K2, 2K3, and Pete as well. So,
And
I mean, you have Pete.
Vodka was playing
It,
the other day too.
yeah, yeah, Vodka. That's true. Vodka was playing 1v1s versus Heart. So imagine Vodka, Kamigawa, and Pete. Like that puts them in a 3v3. I think that puts them pretty high
I'd
in
put them
competitive teams.
I'd put them probably in front of maybe even in front of like Czech Republic. I don't know if I put them in front of Chile.
It's really close.
It
It's either
depends
right
who's
behind
active.
Chile.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they're honestly, I'm gonna put them in front of Chile because there's a few Chilean players with question marks over them, and I know that Kamigawa and Pete will play for sure.
Yeah.
Um, and they're really, really good.
All right, Japan. Japan, another interesting country. It, 3v
Noboru.
3v3 helps them, dude. They got two or three pretty good players. Like you look at Chart's
Yeah,
been getting better. And then you got I don't know if like Bustos is active anymore, but you do have Noboru, who if he gets to pick Iggas.
dude. They, interestingly enough, play a ton of 4v4 team games with the Japanese community on HD.
Really?
Yeah, because Nobu, I've been watching Nobu's stream a lot over the last month. 90% of the time, he's playing 4v4 team games on HD, and a lot of those people seem to be Japanese. But if Noboru is playing, if Chart is playing, and Comtan is the one that I saw that really caught my eye. Comtan is 2K plus 1v1s, 1900 to 2K in team games. Those guys could do well, and I would probably put them. Oh man, there's so many competitive teams. We
It's
need more contenders. Holy crap!
right around that. Well, I mean, if you think about it, competitive is going to be like top 16, right? So there's going to be
Yeah.
more like that, and we're only ranking the top teams, so it makes it even more difficult
More
for us
difficult. Yeah.
to find a spot for everyone. Japan's going to be right around that Italy level or the Chile level, Czech Republic, somewhere around there in competitive teams for me anyway.
I have them behind. Dude, now I want to shift Czech back a little bit. Actually,
I
I want
don't.
to have this is my order. Okay. Um, I have Germany, Austria, Italy, uh, Chile, Japan, Czech, Australia, France, Hong Kong.
Okay. I
That's what
have
I have.
France in front of Australia.
Okay.
So pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on to the next one. Mexico. A lot of players from
Oh,
Mexico. Not so sure about how many great ones there are. Um Puerco, I saw him play the other day. He was
he's good.
okay.
He's very good.
Um but I don't really, I guess like Tommy I kind of Batichoto I recognize, but I don't know how active he's been recently.
Tata K is good.
Jing.
If that's how you say that.
How's Jing on Mexico? Doesn't he live in the States?
No, he's not in the States. He's Mexican, man. He's just a troll, and he has a bunch of different accounts.
Okay.
Now he's Mexican. One time, because there was some things going on in Mexico, so I messaged him. I was like, "Hey, like, how are things going in Mexico?" He said, "It's pretty safe. It's safe enough that if I don't lock my door at night, I don't have to worry about anyone coming in." I was like, "Oh, geez, okay." Um, yeah, I don't know, man. They don't have those players don't play together a lot. Jing is inactive, and most of the players that do play tend to play 1v1. So I'm gonna put them in could win a game, and I'm gonna put them above whatever these flags are that we can't distinguish, and I'm gonna put them behind. Um,
Belgium.
no, I'm definitely not putting them ahead of Denmark. So I'm gonna put them behind Denmark. I have Belgium, Denmark, and Mexico. Remember, my order's different.
I have Denmark at the top of that
Yeah,
list.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Next one along the way is Morocco. Morocco only had one team in Nations Cup 2017. I think that was Greg Stein trying to form it together. There's like
Hmm.
Deadpool here. There's a few names I recognize, but they have big problems with lag and
Yeah,
connectivity issues and everything, and they can't really play together on a regular basis. So I wouldn't.
yeah.
I'd put them near the bottom of the could win it. I'd put them probably at the bottom or with Belarus.
Well, I don't know enough about. We didn't even have what was it, Ecuador on our freaking list. So like at least I know some of the players from Morocco. So I'm gonna put Morocco ahead of Venezuela and Colombia, or Ecuador and Colombia.
I don't think Ecuador was a team. I think I just accidentally downloaded an Ecuadorian flag and
And
then
and yet you
uploaded
put
it.
Morocco below them. Like you don't need. There's not even a
No,
team, and you put Morocco below them.
no, that's Colombia. I have Morocco below. I didn't put Ecuador up on there. Ecuador is
Oh,
not.
oh.
Oh no,
All right, I'll
Ecuador is the
remove.
Netherlands D. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
sorry. No disrespect to the people from these countries.
I think Ecuador is, or is that's Venezuela has bigger
See
problems.
exactly. Just don't talk about it, man. Don't show people how ignorant we are.
All right. Next one along the line, Netherlands, another country with a ton of teams, probably
Hmm.
30 players from the Netherlands. It's amazing for their population,
Yeah.
how many players they have playing Age of Empires 2.
Mm-hmm.
They've
And
I don't know if they've gotten better since the last Nations Cup.
Golden End is amazing. Angelina Jolie is amazing. Um,
Blocken,
and
does he play?
uh, not really, but Derp, Derp is 2K plus. So I think you have Angelina Jolie, Golden End, and Derp. Um, and I think that that puts them in competitive, but like maybe in and around Australia.
Mm.
Uh, so either before or ahead. I would put them ahead of Australia. I mean, the competitive order is not something I'm going to rack my brain and fixing, but I'm going to put them ahead of Australia and behind the Czech Republic, and that is only assuming the Czech Republic has all those players come back.
We need some more contenders. What's going on
Yeah,
here,
I know.
dude? We need to move.
Well,
We need to bump up some.
I think Germany. Now that I look at this,
Germany and Austria should be up there, maybe.
Germany contenders. Um, dude, I still think Italy could do something. I just have a feeling about that, but maybe I'm going to put Argentina, Germany, Austria, Italy, all in contenders.
I'm not going to put Italy there. I
Okay.
don't know enough yet to put Italy there. But yeah,
Okay.
that balances it out a bit. I toss Netherlands in front of Australia. I'm still not sure. I still not sure at all because I haven't really seen Australia do anything convincing.
Hmm.
Once again, their time zone is a bit weird, so I can't really
Yeah.
watch them play. But we'll see. Next team. Speaking about Australia, the next team along is New Zealand.
Could win a
Not
game.
not much going on for New Zealand. We look at the lineup from last Nations Cup. They had Matty Moo, Sir Lawrence, Octagonal Duck, Pyrosaurus Rex, Flightless Bird, and Rilo. I
I
recognize
take it
all
back.
those names,
Yeah.
but we're putting them near the bottom of the couldn't
I
win a game.
I'm putting them in Netherlands D actually.
Really? Oh
Yeah. Dude,
no.
yeah, Maddie doesn't play a lot. Sir Lawrence is doing capture age stuff. Octagonal D is probably their best player there. And he's solid 16 plus, but doesn't I don't think he's experienced in 1v1s. Pyro I don't see online. They might even not have 3 active players. So
I'm putting them.
I'll put them in Netherlands D. And I know that they love us too, because they're big fans and streams and videos. So I know
Yeah,
they can take the insult. So
yeah. And if they can't, too bad.
yeah.
I'm putting them in front of the whatever the flag is. I think it's Ecuador.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
tossed in there. All right. So the next country along the list, another very interesting one. If Viper doesn't play for Germany, which I really hope he doesn't, Norway. The only question for them is whether they can find a third. That's the only question, and whether they don't like admin loss a bunch of stuff because either Viper or MBL can't make the games in the dog shit rounds.
That Wow, they didn't even play last Nations Cup.
Yep.
They didn't even play last Nations Cup.
Viper
So
and MBL were not in the last Nations Cup, folks.
and they were not because they didn't think that they could perform in 4v4s. So 3v3s helps. Helps a lot of other teams as well, right? But Viper MBL, dude, the names that come to mind would be Kong
Buddy? Yeah.
and Buddy. Yeah, and then you have Gluttony, who played, I know, in the World Cup with
What
them as a
about,
third.
dude, what about the best Norwegian player of all time, Sletten? What about Sletten? Is he coming back?
That's a reality actually. He would fit. I think Norway is definitely contender. They're not a favorite.
Yep.
Um,
I'd
but
put
they're a
them,
high contender.
oh, I'd put them in front. Like, it's whether they're going to be, they're definitely in front of Germany, even with
Yeah.
just a 1900 stand in.
Yep, for sure.
Just the Viper effect and MBL and Viper so strong. I think them together actually takes the skill level down a bit
Um,
because the
yeah, it
Viper doesn't
depends.
support MBL enough, really.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm putting them behind Argentina just because they don't have that solid third player yet.
Okay, I'm putting them ahead of Argentina because Argentina has Nikov Twig, but they're still like we're not sure about the third.
Hmm.
And since Norway is in the same boat and they have Viper MBL, I go Norway.
Yeah, but I'd say Argentina's better because they have four potential good
Yeah.
players, whereas Norway has like two
Yeah,
potential
yeah.
good players. So
Yeah,
it's more
I think
likely.
it's really close. Yeah.
Yeah, and if they can't get that good third player, then odds are Viper and MBL won't even play. So
Yeah. Okay.
never know. All right, Peru. Peru. Somebody get Peru on the phone.
Dude, notice how Hart did not play.
Hart.
Hart
if you
does
talk,
not.
if
He
you
does
talk to
not
Hart
like the other players
about
much.
the Peruvian community, and I love the Peruvian community. I think they're really nice. Like every time I talk to them, they're nice, but they're a bit weird. And Hart likes to call them all potato. So there's no one that can really stack up to anywhere close to Hart's level. There's a couple
Yeah.
decent enough players on Peru, but I definitely put them in could win a game.
Yeah, same. They have a lot. Peru is kind of similar to Mexico in that they have a lot of active players, but they're not playing serious. They're playing at a high level, but not serious. So they're 19 plus 1v1s. I recognize like so many of these guys just play 1v1s, and they don't really do much beyond that. And it's just 18 plus, 19 plus. So I agree with you. Honestly, we've discussed this I guess the rankings within each segment. I would put them
I'm
in
putting
front
them
of Morocco.
I'm putting them beside Mexico because I like the way the flags line up.
Oh, you're right. You know what? I'm doing that too.
Yep.
Looks nice.
Nice. Cool. All right, Poland.
Well, Poland have they had a bunch of names here, but they have Jack, who is solid, Barles,
Is playing
who
again.
is playing again, and then I feel like there was a third that used to play for Poland a lot.
There was a lot of
But
PL guys back in the day. I don't know if
yeah,
they're
yeah.
that active anymore. They could
And all
probably
of them had
scrounge up.
Smurfs too. Like, what
Yeah,
about the Jorm guys, like Jorman Degar or whatever?
yeah.
I don't know. I would say they're definitely at could win a game. Eh, yeah, I'm still gonna put. It's tough. I'm like middle of could win a game or at the end of competitive teams.
I'm
But I
putting
have
them
Belgium.
second in could win a game.
Yeah, because I have Belgium and Denmark in could win a game, so I think they're around there. I'm gonna put them third. Remember, I have Belgium, Denmark, and then Poland now
Yep.
in my could win a game.
Cool. Sounds good. We're gonna come back and reference this, by the way, at the end of this. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
Nations Cup 2020 might not even happen. This is just us being excited about the game.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna happen, but it'll be half a year from now, man, and things change so quickly. So
Yep. Yep. The next one along the line, Russia.
so Russia have Vinchester, who is really good, but Vinchester always wants to play with players who I think he's friends with. Like Dench and Warrior, and one of those guys is just a 1600 player, I think.
Well,
Um,
is that Dench? Because Warriors like 19 2K.
let's see.
Warriors
Maybe they just
actually
played like
pretty good.
1600s.
And then they have
Okay, I was thinking Warrior, I guess.
they
Dench is
have
an arena
Keith. They have Keith.
player. So is Keith, yeah. Like it's weird. I feel like they have on paper, if you were to not know anything about the game and look at their ratings, I feel like their ratings look good, but in the past they just have not performed well. And Vinchester's kind of on his own. So I put them behind Poland in could win a game.
Ooh, ooh! I put them ahead of Poland.
Oh no, they'd be ahead of Poland.
I'm putting them ahead of.
Now
I'm
that I'm
putting them
thinking
at the
about it,
front of. Actually, I'm putting them ahead of Hong Kong. Screw that.
yeah. Why do we have Hong Kong there again? Not these other
You
teams.
said, man, I didn't know anything about Hong Kong. You're like, oh, it's a bunch of 2Ks that play together all the time. I don't.
No,
Why
no,
do
no. I said
Why do we have
this.
Australia in competitive teams? In no
I don't know.
world.
Can we put Australia back down there? Let's just quickly change the list. All right. Australia is going down to could win a game. Hong Kong, hold the phone on Hong Kong. But I definitely want to put I feel like Belgium deserves to be in competitive teams if some of these other teams are up there. I don't know.
Well, let's just keep. Listen, I shuffled it up a bit, but let's just keep the list for now.
All right.
We'll
It's
move on.
confusing.
Another very interesting team here, 3v3 really benefits them, is Spain.
Mm. So probably or potentially the second to last big team that could be in contenders here. Tato, Lan, Beastly,
It's who's the
and
third?
then who's the third? Yeah. So Ralber, probably not someone that they should go for. And I only say that because Rauber just plays for fun. He doesn't play serious, though he is good.
Poxo?
Um,
Ugh.
Paxo, I don't think is playing a lot, but he's 2K. As is Mon and Mon. You know what? Tato knows the community really well, and I feel like he would have a solid pick of who would fit him.
Hmm.
And there's definitely players to choose from. So for that reason, like Cambridge, for example, comes to mind. So for that reason, I think that Tato is going to be able to find somebody there, and I think they deserve to be in contenders. Um,
I'm gonna put him in front of Austria and behind
behind
Germany.
Germany,
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair for sure. And the Tato effect always leads to great preparation, which is something that a lot of these other teams don't necessarily get. So I would say that like Spain could be they could definitely punch above their weight in the tournament.
Dude, maybe they'll be Black Forest in Nations Cup and they'll draft up Mem.
I'm sure that would go really well for them.
Imagine how hype
I'm
that
sure
would...
they would do so well.
Dude, imagine how hype that would be if it was like Norway versus Spain in a Black Forest match, and you see MBL's scout
MBL, oh my god!
from the opposite side of the map go right towards Mem's base. Oh man,
Dude,
that'd be
they would. I guarantee you, Norway would call a restart if MBL couldn't get a scout near Mem's Boer villager. Oh my god, that would be great. I would love to see that. I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sweden. Sweden is quite solid. They had Darkly Wise, Spaden, Bullet, Slacktarn,
I think they've dropped off a
Lufus.
bit though. I mean, I've seen Bullet
Yeah,
streaming recently, which is great because Bullet's a really great player.
it's not serious games though. It's just Black Forest team games, and
Yeah, but his activity is activity. Spaden, I haven't seen him around. Slacktarn, not so much. They've gotten worse from the last
they've gotten
Nations Cup.
worse. They do
Yeah.
have Ganji, who's really good. And they have yeah, I mean they have some names who in 2017 were good, but I think they've fallen off, which is a bit of a shame because I love Ganji. I'd love to see him find some teammates. And for that reason, I think they've got to be.
Could win a game behind Australia or behind Poland even, I think.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that it's a bit unfair to Poland and Denmark and Australia to have them and could win a game, but for they're going to be there. I think Sweden have to be there, and I have them behind Australia.
I'm gonna move a few people down to Netherlands D. Morocco's going down there. Belarus is going
Yeah,
down there.
okay. I have New Zealand down there. That would be a good fit. I'm putting Colombia and I'm putting Ecuador down there. We don't even know Ecuador has a team. And then Colombia was a bunch of random, so they definitely deserve to be in Netherlands D.
Yep. All right. Cool. Switzerland. You think Bullet Chin's gonna make a comeback?
To come back to bother you, so he'll play. He gets someone to play Apex with. No, I mean, dude, we were just talking about Netherlands D, and I think we found the perfect spot for Switzerland. Because Bullet was their best player, and
No, he wasn't.
he wasn't. Who's their best
No,
player?
I thought. Well, maybe not back in 2017. Bullet eventually got to I think 1950 or 2K, but like
In Islands.
yeah, in Islands it's still legitimate. I don't know. I felt like there was another player that was higher rated than him, but anyway, there's not many Swiss players around anymore. They had 3 teams in the last Nations Cup. They'll probably have a couple more teams this Nations Cup, but they're both. If they have 2, they're probably gonna both be in Netherlands D.
Yep, I agree. Turkey. This is an interesting one. But Dream, Array, they do have better players than Switzerland. So, but then again, there's a lot of inactivity and there's a lot of players who don't recognize. I know that
Well,
Turkey has a great arena scene. There's so many Turkish arena guys, but none of them
Striker,
signed up here. So
Striker and Kuvi are both custom scenario players.
okay,
Striker is probably like 1800.
team games. That's what he is. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him to get like if he practices a bit to get 1900 1v1s as well. Kuvi's like a Black Forest player, so I don't know. If they round up 3 of their best, maybe they could be near the top of or
I
Netherlands
have
D,
them.
and then India could win a game in front of Mexico, maybe.
Yeah, I have them. I have them at the bottom of could win a game.
Okay, I'm gonna put them in front of Mexico because I think I'm gonna rate them a bit higher than that.
Okay.
They also team together a lot, so their chemistry is gonna be good.
Okay. And Ukraine. Oh wow.
Classic Pro, that's a name I haven't seen in a while.
He plays too. Classic Pro is one of those weird guys that qualifies for tournaments every now and then, and you see him. I think he's good, but I'm not seeing a lot of activity from these other guys, and I don't recognize them.
Yeah,
So, ah, again, I just don't have enough information on them. I know Crossfade plays. I'm leaning towards because of the quality of Classic Pro and Crossfade. I'm going to put them in could win a game. I'm going to put them third or fourth to last in there. I'm going to put them ahead of Peru. No, I'm going to put them ahead of Mexico, behind Sweden.
yeah. I don't want to mix up that Mexico Peru thing we got going on there.
Yeah, and plus Sweden and Ukraine look pretty nice together. So
Okay, cool. Uh, Next one along the list, USA probably, or no, this is. Do we have UK or USA? UK.
USA's next. Yep.
No, UK is
Okay.
alphabetical.
Well, on your spreadsheet, USA is next. So we can go to UK first because I
Yeah.
have a lot to say about USA. So
Okay. UK, I think they've gotten worse.
they've definitely gotten
Because
worse.
like you look at their team last time, it was a decent team. They had Fallstar, they had Nick, who was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Igloo, did he have another team or another name?
Uh,
I feel like he must have had another name. I don't recognize Igloo.
his name is It's Simba now.
They had Richard and Darvoy, but yeah, they're definitely. I don't think
Richard
Fallstar
doesn't play.
plays. I don't think Nick plays anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fallstar definitely still plays, but the other four on the A list, not so much. If you look at their B list, there is SMB who he's gone. Bit sad. Love that guy. Uh, Magical. Wow, dude, I remember one of the first games I ever uploaded to YouTube was Viper versus Magical. Um,
Milmano, Chris
Milmano
Pelham,
doesn't play. Toady
Toady.
doesn't play. Chris doesn't play.
Look at UKC as well. Oh my God, so many legends.
Yeah,
Hyuna, Carlini, Pete, Zero
Blotch.
Empires,
You think
Blotch,
Blotch has any facial hair yet? What was he, like 12
Lou
before?
Roll. I remember Lou
Jew
Roll.
Matt. Yeah, Jew Mad Bro, Chris Milmano, Toady, they all played together all the time. SMB as well, and they're all gone.
Yeah,
Um, and then Zero Empires, who barely plays, and not sure if he would be up for it. So yeah, I think, dude, honestly,
they went from competitive team to Netherlands D.
Netherlands D.
Like they're in.
Wait, wait, hold on. There is one player, Hallis. Hallis is 2K plus in
Okay.
1v1s. And there is, you know what? There is another guy, Sting, who's 2K plus, but I don't know if they play. They're both really good in 1v1s. Um, so with that in mind, I think they have to be and could win a game, assuming they would play. Even so far, like they would be ahead of Peru, in my opinion.
Okay.
Um, let's put them, I think, behind.
Ukraine behind Turkey.
I think who's Sweden? Let me look at Sweden again. I might even put them. I might put them above Sweden because I can only see one active 2K on Sweden. So I put them ahead of Sweden and behind Australia.
I don't have enough to go off to put them
Yeah,
there.
I know those guys very well and they're good, so I can tell you that much.
Okay.
But they're not team game players. So
Okay. Next one along the list is Uruguay. Uruguay last Nations Cup had.
wait, United States.
Oh yeah, United States.
Trying to skip over us, man.
I'm sorry, man.
Okay, so I have a lot to say about this. I'm gonna try and keep it condensed. I know for a fact that all of the quote top players will not be together.
Ooh.
Yeah, and since I might be playing on one of those teams, I don't know how much I should say, but from what I'm gathering, I think that the a few of the players really want a competitive team, and they want players that they get along with and teams that will talk strategy and train. So
Spring is
um,
out, basically, is what you're talking.
use no, listen, like but on a serious note, like if you ever to pick the three best players there for team games, it's Melkor Fëanor and well, it'd be Melkor Fëanor and then
Daniel?
Daniel Metal and
Yeah.
Metal. Um, so anyways, I did have some conversations with Metal and we were talking about the potential of it. Um, I I think that USA could really do well if the right people are there. Like for example, Fëanor and Melkor, they're solid players. They have good team synergy because they're sitting right next to each other. Free Carto. And then Daniel's good, and he has a good mindset. And Metal's good and has a good mindset. So yeah, and then I don't know, like, will Flu play? Possibly. Um, Spring, will he play? I think with Spring, he might not be okay with not being with the others because he's been with them in the past. And then I would play provided I would prefer to be on the bench with Melkor Fëanor, Metal, Daniel, and provide insight and train and stuff, than like more than I would prefer to be a starter
So
on
what
like
you're
another
saying
team.
is when it's Canada versus USA in the finals, we're
We're
both
gonna
gonna be
be
we're gonna be on either side, or no, in the casting booth,
yeah.
being captains for the team. That would be the
Well,
greatest script of all time.
see, if it was a 4v4 in terms of my place, if it was a 4v4, I think I'd be a rotation player. But if it's a 3v3, it's really I'd have to really be lying to myself to say that I
You're
could
playing, dude. You're
replace
playing in the
Daniel,
dog shit rounds.
Metal. Exactly, yeah. So I think I'm confident that USA can do really well if the right players are together. So for me, I'm guessing
I'll put them in
Melkor.
contenders.
Yeah, yeah, can ooh. Yeah, I
Contenders
think they're contenders. Yeah, like I
near
think that we
Austria,
could beat
either side.
I think that US could beat Italy. It'd be close, but I think we could beat Italy. Um I think on our day we could beat a couple of the teams in contenders. So yeah, I'm gonna put them ahead of Austria, behind Spain.
Okay, I was thinking about that. I don't even have Italy up in contenders, so
Yeah, but anyways, I'm really torn because I would absolutely love if it was a 4v4, I would absolutely love to be the fifth man and be in like training with them and talk about strategy because I've casted so many games and I like to think I know what I'm talking about. But most likely I'd just be a dog shit round person if I'm even on the team at all. So
yeah,
I'm gonna want to be casting shit too. So like I have that decision to make when the time comes.
yep. Okay, well, I hope they can. I'd love to see USA succeed in a Nations Cup because that is like one of the biggest player bases of the game, and they just it's hard for
Yeah,
American players to find someone to get behind. I feel like if
but
there was one US player or team that could succeed, we'd see a lot more American players getting involved in like the pro scene.
but there are players who are not on this list, did not play, that are good.
Hmm.
Scotty is really good. Scotty has a good head on him from what I can gather. Um, Metal told me like what his five would be. He said that it would be Melkor Fëanor, him, Daniel, and then he said either Scotty or myself, but he doesn't know Scotty well. So then you have Flu. There's Juba out there. Um, who else is there?
D
Um,
Myers.
I mean,
If you have need of some rage, some fun.
yeah, I mean, he also hasn't been playing for a while either. So yeah. Anyways, I think there's like you said, there's always been a lot of good players, but there hasn't
Jacobs
really been good results. Jacobs, dude, what's remember that Black
for
Forest game?
Jake. We need Jacobs for scheduling purposes.
Jacobs was online yesterday, dude. I didn't know he was still playing, but yeah.
Seven,
Anyways, I think there's a lot of good players, and I hope they perform.
17 GMT my time.
Oh yeah, was that him? Forgot about
It's like, what do you mean GMT your time?
that.
Kind of goes against the point of GMT.
Okay,
Oh man.
so next up is Uruguay, and can we do Venezuela in the same boat?
Yeah.
I can't recognize these players.
Can I just say that one of these names is great? Obi Juan.
Venezuela. Obi-Wan, that's great. That is great.
El Jedi Master.
Dude, it looks like he plays a lot of not a lot of, but he's played some scenario in the past.
That's funny.
But
I'd put them
yeah, I
in
don't really
Netherlands
recognize
D.
these guys. And
Yeah.
I'm putting both Uruguay and I'm putting Venezuela in Netherlands D. I think oh yeah, there's Venezuela. Netherlands D with all the other similar flags, and then Uruguay as well.
And then finally we come to our last great country on the list, which is
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam. And I'm not sure another country that's interesting because I'm not sure if 3v3 will benefit them above 4v4. I just don't know the level of cool
Yeah.
and how much he had an impact on that team. I mean, when you look at the roster right now, probably active best players, you have Backed, you have ACCM, and you have Yellow or Say My Name.
Yes. Yeah. They'd be
Who's
beastly, dude. They could. I'm looking down the contenders list. Like backed, say my name, and ACCM could beat Norway with Viper and MBL
Oh,
because they don't really have a third.
I'm
They,
even tempted. I'm tempted to put them at the top of this list
yeah,
of contenders. Like
I'm thinking the same. I think they're.
I might even put them in front of Canada. Like to be honest, I might bump Canada down.
I'm looking and thinking. They're definitely. I think Brazil having two teams complicates this. I'm even tempted to put backed, say my name, and ACCM above Brazil.
I would
Nah,
I
nah.
wouldn't put them
I
above
think
Brazil. I'm gonna knock Canada down as much as that pains me. I'm gonna put them at the top of the contenders list, and I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
put Vietnam on the favorites list because
yeah, yeah. I
Say My
agree.
Name, ACCM. Like I've been watching a lot of their streams late at night. They've been streaming a lot more often. Same with Backed, and they're really really good. Like
And they play
really
together a
good.
lot.
Yeah.
They play more team games than they do 1v1s. And then as far as other teams go, it's kind of similar to China where there will be players you haven't heard of before that are really good. Um, like Bad Boy you may have heard of before, Dave, Seal,
Kuda.
Kutazoa, yeah. Um, so there are some names out there we know, and then some names we don't know that
Oh,
are pretty solid levels.
where's HK on this list too? I don't see
I don't
him. Maybe he was going under a
probably
different list or a different name.
different name or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't keep them all straight. This one guy's name is Rolls Royce.
I remember Rolls
um,
Royce, dude.
I mean, I'm looking at them all, and they're all 2K. So they could be solid, a bit like the China B, C, D, E, F, all the way to Z. Um, but yeah, dude, I think I'm kind of glad they're at the end of this list because I think that the difference between Vietnam and Canada is that every single player on their 3-man squad is solid, like
Hmm.
more than solid actually. Whereas you look at Canada, there's Slam and Hera, and they're great, but I wouldn't say Mentalist is as good as any of the players that Vietnam has, and he certainly doesn't play as much either. So I think China, just looking down the favorites list, China, Finland, Brazil's, and then Vietnam is probably a great top four.
Yep. Oh, that was an hour and 33 minutes to get through a tier list with like 40 countries.
They don't even get to hear our regular conversations when it's not a video.
Yeah, that was a podcast, man. I was planning on a video. I got a podcast out of it.
It was fun though. Like I could easily sit here and talk for another hour plus if we really wanted to break down the favorites and contenders. But I think we were pretty thorough with when we were talking about the teams. Um, I think with the right timeline, so starting well after AW2DE, like February or March, um, with the right timeline, it can be a great event with a lot of great exposure. And it can not only give the top players here some great experiences, but also, people in the community. That's what Nations Cup has always been about.
Yep, and I made this point on your stream the other day, and I'm gonna make it again. Um, Nations Cup is less about the viewers. So if you as a viewer find yourself complaining about something, whether it's the length of the rounds or the scheduling or whatever, Nations Cup is about bringing the community together, and it's about the players. So if you find yourself getting annoyed with the format of the tournament and don't think it's that conducive to watching good games, just try and remember that.
Yeah, I
There's a
mean,
lot
there's
of
going to be
people who haven't been in tournaments before. This is their first tournament, or maybe their second tournament, or maybe they just started playing the game online. They just want to get involved. Let them be.
yep.
Sign up yourself. Organize a team. Make some friends. Have a good time.
No, I agree, and it's actually quite nice because the first couple months you have what we call the dog shit rounds, but those are the fun rounds for people who know for a fact they're not going to be in the contenders
Yeah,
or even competitive,
and
and then you switch on the serious mode, and games get crazy.
like that's the chance for all these newer players, or maybe players that don't get so much exposure. Like, I don't know about you, Tristan, but I think you can get a lot more viewers if you clickbait, like, you know, Poland versus Germany Nations Cup, and you just don't say that it's like Poland F versus Germany N, you
I
know?
mean,
And
I mean,
people,
I don't want to deceive people.
no, I know, but like more, even if you put the team prefix, like more people will show up because they are cheering on their country, or they just want to
Yeah, yeah.
see, nations compete against each other. It's a really really fun tournament to be a part of, and it's a fun tournament to watch. And if you guys do want to, um, I'd say kind of participate in the Nations Cup festivities, I would advise watching a lot of the earlier rounds because it'll give you a
Yeah.
feel for what the tournament is, and maybe you can watch an underdog rise, or you can watch one of the favorites fall.
It's almost like you know how when a lot of my viewers like community games is because they can relate to the struggle.
Yeah,
It'll be like that, like they'll say, "Oh, okay, I would make that mistake too," but then they start rooting for people. There will be some legends, I'm sure, where certain players are trying their best. That's what it's all about. So I'm looking forward to it, but there's still so much that's probably going to happen before Nations Cup. But this just gives you an idea of how good it's been in the past for the community, and we're talking about it at this point.
okay. Anyone else who wants to complete this tier list? I'll put the link in the video. I'll also put the link to the Google document, or whether it's going to be a forum post or whatever, with all the teams from the previous Nations Cup. And if you want to know more about Nations Cup 2020 or the previous ones, go to aoezone.com. Thank you, T90 official, or 9TD, whatever it says on
Close
your
close
logo.
relative of T90 official.
Whatever happened to T89 official?
I, j- I don't know, man.
He's in a box somewhere underground.
Yeah, should I like promote my channel, Dave, or you think is that too rude?
Man, if this video gets like 100,000 views, you're gonna think, like, you think this is the way you think about me. You're gonna be like, yeah, I did one video with Dave. That's enough for the next 5 years, you know.
Well, I mean, it was my idea to come on and do this, so I didn't record it. Like we had that race with the uh the Forest Nothing one months back. But yeah, it was great coming on, man. Obviously, great talking about this stuff with you, and I'm excited. So keep your stick on the ice, guys.
Oh, you stole my thing. Anyway, for anyone who doesn't already, follow me on Twitter. Dave
Why are you
underscore
plugging?
AOE. Because I love Twitter. I can sit at work and I just think of something funny and I tweet it out.
All right.
It's way less effort than everything else. So cool. Follow me on Twitter. See you later, boys and girls. Keep your stick on the ice.